45 men and women pursue an extraordinary dream. 22 countries, 19 months, a voyage around the world. Tall Ship Chronicles.
It's early December, and the tall ship Picton Castle is closing in on the Pacific Ocean.
Big ships! Big ship!
We're taking the world's most famous shortcut, the Panama Canal.
This is the gateway, this is the door opening, this is the real deal. We're off in the Pacific, and it's a big gulp. Oh my God, oh my goodness.
Panama Canal, man. Look at that big, what do you call that? The Carnival Cruise Line, what is that? I don't know, some passenger boat. They came to be in the canal. It's not just a way through, it's a destination unto itself. It's kind of like Route 66. People go there to be there. We're going there to get to the other side of the world, though.
Over 25,000 construction workers died building this canal.
Good ship.
It almost didn't get finished.
It's an amazing engineering and sociological and imperialistic and colonial and empire feat that should someone suggest today we do this, or someone should do it, it'd be just, are you out of your mind? Are you nuts?
There are certain moments in life which, for obvious reasons, simply beg for personal introspection, and sailing underneath the Bridge of the Americas from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean is one of them.
Woo!
There's a lot of open ocean in front of us. Over the next 2 months, we will float ourselves over 4,000 miles, enjoying only 2 landfalls, one of which has no airport. If any of us wants to end this little sailing experiment, now is the time to do it. Panama City. It's our first stop in the Pacific Ocean. Some of the houses here remind me of downtown St. John's, but everything else is totally foreign to my eye. The captain says if we buy $3 machetes and $2 knives here, we can use them as much more valuable trading items in other parts of the world.
Cheap CDs and videos.
Pots and pans.
His own trading list, though, is more ample.
Black bras were big.
Black bras.
In Takaro. Big.
Black brass?
Big item. Very big. We're not looking a lot
Polynesians.
We're not looking a lot of 32As here, if you know what I'm saying.
Got it.
Are there RCs?
The ship's purser, Beth, teams up with our doctor, Jorge, and my crewmate, Jill.
Yeah, okay, and then 2 for Jill.
And dos, que no las voy a poner, no, es una docena de esto.
And 3 of these. And maybe just 2 of these.
Siete dientes por pulgada.
You made fun of me at first.
Meanwhile,
So we gotta get to the, I don't know what it is, the Super Centro or the El Dorado. I don't know which is which.
we are on the hunt for a
this is the El
surfboard.
Dorado.
Tumba Muerto, you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yes, Tumba Muerto, where?
Yes.
This way? Oh, it's this? And Tumba Muerto, do you know where that store is?
Here. This is all called Tumba Muerto. Yeah. Can you ask the word longboard if they have longboards or bigger boards?
Estamos buscando tablas largas, mucho más largas que esas. No se puede. They could have it made, but
No, not in a couple of
that
days.
doesn't work, yeah.
That sucks.
In another section of the city, our crewmate Rob McDonald is searching for something else, peace of mind. When the Picton Castle sails away from Panama, Rob will be the first to jump ship.
It's the ship's routine. I've just come through a period where I've had a very strict routine imposed because of some family health problems. My father passed away just this past May, so 6 months ago, and my mother the July before that. And so my time was not my own for the last 3 or 4 years. And when you're on board ship, you have to follow a very strict routine of watches and when you eat, when you sleep, everything.
Well, I probably could,
When?
get a few drinks out.
I mean, like,
I just need a break from that, and it's what has to go on the ship, but just not for me right now.
I think the whole thing was just too much for him, so, it wasn't any much fun. He wanted a vacation. This is not a vacation. He was, with everyone's blessing, just, went on home, and that's fine. So this wasn't for him, which is fair enough. This is for the people who it's for, not the ones who it isn't for.
It's for me, I know that.
How come this isn't a gaffle? Because it got planed down too much.
And I'm also pretty sure that it's for Lindsay and Liz and Moises and Jill and pretty much all of the younger crew. But there are some people this trip might not be for. It's really tough physically, and it's even tougher socially, and everybody has days where they just want to step inside a teleporter and be beamed instantly home. We keep an eye out for signs of weakness, and then we gossip about who we think is going to leave next. Speaking of gossip, Greg and Annalisa right there have shared a very hot secret with a very small group of people. And on the Picton Castle, that means everybody knows. That is not the only thing that's hot.
A couple things people have been asking me, and one is that, geez, Cap, it's kind of hot.
37 degrees, boys.
What? It's 37 degrees where? Right here?
Always this hot?
There you go.
That's 98 for us
US
Yankee boys.
98 for Ye crowd. For us, it's just melting.
This Panama hot's sort of pretty hot.
What's the thermometer at today? It's on melt.
One of the manifestations of Panama hot is fruit and vegetables tend to go off real quick.
Look at that, man. Look at that. We're going through the potatoes and... Oh, that's so disturbing. We're getting rid of the rotten ones and we're cleaning off the ones that have somehow not succumbed to such peril. And speaking of peril... Today is the day that I turned 30. I got up this morning, I said to Wade, I go, I'm 30. He goes, dirty? No, 30. God damn it. Well, when I was a youngster, I thought that I'd be doing things like being married and having kids and having a job, but instead I'm doing this. Ah, that's so disgusting. I touched a snotty one.
Happy birthday, dear Andrew. Happy birthday to you.
The Galapagos Islands are 1,000 miles away. Coming from the Atlantic to the Pacific has made us feel confident, but we're still a motley crew of rookie sailors. We shouldn't be cocky. We should be nervous. And the chief mate makes sure we get that picture.
There's potential in everything we do to snap your fingers off, break your arm, hurt yourself. And we're out there where it's like, we'll call up the emergency room because that's 5,000 miles away. Ain't gonna happen. I mean, we're going out in the biggest ocean on the planet. We're our fire department, we're our medical department, we're our everything. We're it. If you see someone fall overboard, if you see a fire, you make it as loud as you possibly can. And if you hear it, it's serious. It's as serious as a heart attack, man. You get going, you turn to and turn and burn.
All right, now we got you thoroughly terrified, scared. Let's go.
Day 1, Pacific Ocean.
There you go. Perfect. That's well.
We're barely underway, and already I'm in trouble.
Andrew, I hear you had a bit of a chat with the captain.
Yeah. I got called to the office yesterday. It felt like the principal was talking to me or something. It was very odd. I hurt my thumb, as you know already. Ugh, I'm covered in tar. When I hurt my thumb, the doctor was relatively useless on the event. I mean, you weren't there, but my thumb was clearly dislocated. You know, it had a bulge there and it stuck out this way.
But the only way to know that is by really feeling the joint or by taking x-rays, which we did not have.
He refused to acknowledge that it was dislocated.
So I tried to examine the joint, but he was in so much pain that he wouldn't really allow me to touch it, and he was shrieking in pain and get all upset.
But then he just mocked me as somebody who couldn't handle pain. And, you know, basically mocked me to my face. So fine. The thumb didn't get set. I went to the hospital, and sure enough, it's dislocated.
And the x-rays showed a dislocation of the finger, which was not so apparent from a clinical point of view.
And so the doctor then, again, bragged to me and told me that he was telling everybody, laughing, saying that I'm telling everybody on board you're a crybaby.
which would be funny if he'd done anything for me, but because he didn't, it really just pissed me off. And I said to him, yeah, well, I'm telling you to be on board, you're a lousy doctor. And mocked him to his face.
And I was kind of upset about that. And I feel that continued for a number of days, and so I had to talk to the captain about it, because I think it would not be good for the morale of the crew if everybody had the feeling that I had fucked up his finger or whatever.
Yeah, that's the ones I got. Is that the one I got?
Yeah. Andrew's a natural leader, especially the younger guys are going to follow him. He's kind of cool. He's a superstar in Canada. Ooh, Andrew. And so he's acting like an idiot. So I said, Andrew, people follow you. Don't act like an idiot.
The captain called me in and said, you know, he didn't say that speaking ill of the professionals was bad. What he told me was that me being sarcastic about it was bad.
Sarcasm is from the Greek. It means to cut skin. That's exactly what it is. So just lay off. I mean, I enjoy sarcasm as well as the next person, but I've learned to not do it. And I enjoy your good sarcasm, but it's not right, you know, in an environment like this. It fosters, you know, ill will and ill feeling, and the younger people are going to be very impressionable and, you know, take his opinion, which might be just some sort of humorous thing he did for the moment, and he'll take it to heart, and that's, he shouldn't do that. So I told him that.
And it did make me feel small and childlike. It was upsetting. Not upsetting, but unnerving, you know, to be told that your personality doesn't really fit on board this ship, which I don't know that I necessarily believe, but I certainly get the message to shut up.
But I don't shut up. I tell the whole story to Lauren, and I make it as sarcastic as possible. Trying to make Lauren laugh has become my favorite onboard activity.
Greg and Annalise's wedding. I don't know what it's about. I just know they're getting married and hope it works out for them.
It's official. Greg and Annalisa are getting married.
That's my girl.
Rumor has it the captain will marry them at the equator. Rumor also has it the captain won't marry them at the equator. In some ways, they're made for each other. He's writing a book, she's editing his book, and what we say about them could fill a book.
I mean, a lot of people have their own opinions as to the wedding, but I just think it's wonderful. I mean, it's their decision. They're adults. They're in love.
Oh yeah, they've got some strippers lined up. I tried to talk Mikkel into it the other night, but he's too shy. Mac volunteered to be the stripper, so I think we'll make do with Mac. I don't really want to see anybody on the ship naked, you know, but we have to make do.
Greg and Annalisa have a lot to plan. The equator is only days away.
I guess if eventually I'm ever to get married, which I swear, Mom, someday I probably will, that getting married right off the equator would be, you know, pretty much unbeatable experience.
When I do get married, if I do get married when I'm older, then I definitely gonna want some time to myself every now and then. And on the ship, I don't think you have very much time to yourself, and I don't think I'd be able to deal.
It's kind of interesting, relationships on board ships, because it's kind of backwards. It's like, okay, we're all going to move in together and spend every waking moment together, and like then you get to the relationship part, whereas, you know, on shore it's kind of the other way around.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I have also started a romance. Lauren is a paid crew member on this ship. In fact, she was in charge of my very first watch. At first, I liked Lauren because, well, basically because she was smarter than me. But then I got to see her be funny, fearless, filthy, talented, and totally in control, and I realized she's everything I envy in a person.
Oh, yeah.
We're excited, but we're also nervous. There's a 10-year age difference between us. There's a cultural gap that extends from my home of Newfoundland to hers of South Africa. And this date, this trip we're on, has 16 more months left to go.
They're saying I'm not being very tidy about it.
But right now, our chemistry feels bigger than those obstacles. The only thing weirder than going to see Single and Alone is going to see Married and Alone. Jim's wife is waiting for him in New Hampshire. Our cameraman Wade's wife is holding down the fort in Nova Scotia.
How does it feel to be doing a real job?
What do you mean a real job? And Beth's husband is in Massachusetts.
He would never do it. It's too much like sort of all of the bad parts of summer camp, all the group living aspect of it to him. He said he'd rather poke sharp sticks in his eyes than have enforced group living kind of regimentation.
At sea, though,
Oh, Jesus.
we're all married to the job at hand.
Like some oddball circus act every time. Slowly. You got another foot. That's well. It's not slowly, but it's well.
When we travel at a decent speed, the ship slices through the water with a fair amount of stability. Look at our sails now, though. The only puff of air in them is pushing them the wrong way. That means we stop, and that means we bob like a cork. Just look, we go down, and then we go up. And when the ship goes down, and then up like that, so does breakfast.
And I hurled like 5 times. And then I felt fine.
Feeling better now?
I feel fine. I felt fine before. It's just a minor annoyance in my day. I'm gonna go puke my guts out of this side. Poor Kate. She's down for the count. I went and got her stuffed animal and her pillow. Wendy's feeling sick as well a bit.
Without wind, every moment on deck feels like a Sunday afternoon. Suddenly you have time to do all those niggly chores. You have time to read. You have time to play games.
No, she would not get to go again. It's my
I
turn.
do. I would get to go because I poked him in the eye.
And if you're Sloan, who convinced his parents to send him on this trip, you have time to learn the things you'd never learn in school.
Move the round one there. No, yeah, that one. Okay. Until you get it so it's right on the horizon.
And there's time to soak in some seamanship.
In the Egyptian tombs, they found rope exactly like this. It wasn't any different. It's 5,000 years old. It's exactly the same.
So I'm going to take in as much of the workshop as I can, you know. You're here for a year and a half. I don't want to show up home with the same information.
So you got the rope or the line, the strand, the yarn, the thread.
What's the significance of the purple strands?
In this case, it's a manufacturer's marker. This would indicate that this is made by thus and so company.
I want to learn what rope can do. It's interesting.
So it's a very, very round rope. So it bears very evenly, it wears evenly.
Couldn't tie up my garbage properly when I left Newfoundland. Seriously, you know? Now I can tie a bowline and cinch something up tight. I'm a better person for it.
I have a ditty bag. A ditty bag, rigging bag, it's a sacred medicine bundle, so remember that. My first sewing palm, little beat. This is my great-great-grandfather's marlin spike. I decided I'd risk it at sea.
They're not conversation pieces on the coffee table. This is part of his working day's existence. It's a good thing to see.
And then something that isn't so good. I have a relapse of uncontrolled sarcasm.
Where do you think we'll be for Christmas?
Well, I guess there.
Pardon me?
I guess on Galapagos.
I don't know, man.
When's Christmas?
25th usually. 6 days.
6 days.
Somebody recommended that I reread the tips for shipmates in the Picton Castle trainee crew handbook. Number 1, the person who is noisy, the wise guy, the sarcastic type, and those who feel that their own desires are important do not make good shipmates. That's number 1. I think that's me, the wise guy in quotes, or the sarcastic type, I think is the issue where I'm really falling down on. So I have to be a better person.
But they look so good. Oh my God, that's so cool. Billy.
Spinner dolphin. When they jump out of the water, they spin. For some reason, that's why they call them spinners.
That's a feeding circle.
The dolphins are a nice distraction, but beyond them looms something truly foreboding. For days, we've been headed straight for the equator, and when we finally cross it, a secretive sailor's hazing ceremony is going to take place. And if rumors are right...
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be all fun and games here. I think there's going to be some damage done to our psyches.
I think that's what they're hoping. I don't know. I think some of us have big enough personalities to do anything.
I think that those of us with the big personalities are going to take the biggest brunt.
It's just a tradition of the sea that goes back for centuries. And pretty well kept secret.
It is a kind of initiation. Some of our sailors, like Mikkel and Lauren and Jorge, have endured it already. So we push them for details.
So the fastest way is...
No dice.
Let's see what I know. Let's see.
No comments.
The people who have actually crossed the equator, and they're the what are the names again?
The shellbacks.
Shellbacks. Something backs. Shellbacks. Thank you, Tom. I'm being coached from above. Shellbacks are the folks who have already crossed the equator in the past.
We're all pollywogs right now because we haven't. Once you cross the equator, you become a shellback.
I've been told by some of the shellbacks, those who have previously crossed the equator, to be scared, to be frightened, to be nervous, to sleep with one eye open.
The part that everyone seems to know, anyway, is that people's heads are going to be shaved, which for me, I could really care less about that. Very freaking close. We should cross right about there.
Which would be how long, do you reckon?
Right now, it's 1 mile.
1 mile. So, an hour? Half an hour?
We should cross, but we don't. Instead, we begin 4 agonizing days of zigzagging.
We could have hit the equator last night, except for, interestingly enough, I was under orders to alter course due west upon arrival 5 miles north of the equator.
It's all meant to heighten the anxiety and the anticipation. So we fish around for things to distract us. But it always comes back to the same subject.
Sure, if they come at me with the razor, I won't say no. There's some things I will say no to, but...
They come at me with the razor, I'm getting the fire axe and I'm kind of hitting back.
Annalisa, though, does have some bigger issues on her mind.
The lack of solitude, I didn't expect to be that much of an issue, and it is.
That's only the beginning. She complains about the food, the water, refrigeration, vaccinations, the lack of exercise, her lack of control. Annalisa started off loving this lifestyle. Now she's not so certain.
God. You know, I wasn't pressed into service here. This was my choice. So I have to, anytime you make a choice, you can reevaluate it and decide whether it's the right thing, decide whether to continue.
We're looking at the equator, man. We're looking at the equator. There you go. Little black line. Black. You ever seen it? You spent enough time down here, you should have seen it before. Yeah, you can see it plain as day. You got to get it on the front side of the swell when the sun's shining down. Brace yourself right here, you'll see it. You got to brace yourself good. You see it yet?
I mean, is that dark line there? Yeah.
You see a little black line in there?
Yes, yes.
It's the equator, buddy.
Wow. Amazing. It's amazing, isn't it?
Finally, a message in a bottle appears on our fishing line.
Okay, something's going on.
There's nothing in comparison to what's gonna be going on, though.
Feel it right on the deck.
Johnny Walker Black, too, at least.
Johnny Walker Black, it's empty. Throw it back.
There's a message in it, buddy. You have angered and offended His Holiness, the amazing ruler of the seas, King Neptune.
Report to usual behavior to the captain. There's something happening on the forecastle head.
What's happening is that the shellbacks have invaded. In keeping with tradition, they dress to intimidate and to titillate. They're King Neptune's insane posse, and they take command of the ship. We follow like lemmings. They follow some basic rules of comedy, and the captain follows the time-honored script by dropping to his knees.
What could we do? Perhaps a visitation from King Neptune might be in order?
I think so.
Neptune await us up ahead?
He's pretty disgusted with the whole show.
Is he vomiting profusely?
Profusely, green bile.
Is he
Dry heaves.
Oh, the worst.
She's pretty disgusted.
Why don't you heave this slab too, and we can get on with this.
All right, take in the royals. Taking the royals. What?
Did he just touch you?
Oh, this is getting worse all the time.
Next is gonna be
All the time.
So here we are, we pollywogs being herded down into the main salon to await our fate. We wait. And we wait. And we spy.
Ed shaving his head!
And we celebrate. After all, we've been waiting for this wait. So this is it.
You're gonna go soon.
The much dreaded, much discussed equator crossing. We meet our fate one by one.
Jim! Up here!
Sailors have been undergoing this ritualistic ceremony for centuries. It's a rite of passage, a common been-there-done-that bond, a gang initiation.
Billy's groping his own breasts. It's a bad scene.
The captain is just
Where's the
fucking...
captain? I heard he was in something
Right there.
funky. Oh man, that's the shortest skirt he's had on yet. Oh man, Jorge's doing surgery on himself. It's really bad out there.
Well, honey, what ship is this? What are we? What's the name of the ship?
They're all the same.
Okay, who's up? What's the crime here? What's up?
Okay. The second mate.
What's this crime? What's this so-called second mate's so-called crime?
Took advantage of this ship in her time of need to advance his own means.
Oh.
You have to pay for that one.
A scum-sucking pollywog.
Oh, total.
And
a foul effluvia of the lowest order.
those robands that he has coming off the top of his head.
Second mate, some yet to yellow fever.
No one is immune, including our cameraman Wade.
Bye, Wade.
Where's some coloring?
Coloring. We might need a little coloring here. Come on. We have some shellbacks around that can help out with us here.
All right. Have at it. Save the hair.
Yeah, we want that.
We might need that hair.
We might need that hair.
Give him hair.
Hair! My lifelong dream.
Up on the top of his head.
Yeah. Believe me, I have it everywhere else. George! Hey, can I have a smoke? I have it there.
Is there anyone else?
Andrew Younghusband. Wow.
His crimes.
Oh.
Oh.
Watch your eyes, Andrew. Your eye. Your eye.
The first is being a newfie.
Ugly. That's big N for that one.
The second is being a film star. The third, predatory on virginal crew aboard the Picton Castle. Virginal?
Where? Never said it. To the Shellback grill. I think the only thing I can do is ask the fellow Shellback, what is his punishment? say in your defense?
I love it here.
Come on, Shellback, you gotta lend a hand.
Well, I've been wanting to shave my head for a long time, and I thought that they would cut my hair at the crossing. And when they didn't, I, took a few deep breaths, and Emily went at me with the razor for a while, and it really is like almost like a rebirth. You take it all off, it's all gone. It's all gonna come off. Then I let Billy take it down to the skin.
Little mangy dog.
And I don't care what anybody thinks it looks like. That's the point, right? I'm gonna shave my goddamn head, I'm gonna shave my goddamn head.
You look like a band roll-up.
Shut up, Andrew.
And I feel like some kind of long-haired hippie freak.
Look at you, Younghusband. Yep, doesn't get much shorter than that. I've always had hair, and now I don't, and it's a different feeling. I feel changed in a way, and I have to hold myself and walk differently, and it does feel like a bit of a new me.
Everybody on board has had to reinvent themselves, especially when it comes to privacy.
All right, so what about that privacy? What about that privacy? There is no privacy.
Sleeping up there when I was on the lookout.
One of the things that floats this boat is a great big sea of gossip and rumors. It's an unbelievably large part of our life, and one of the reasons for that is there's really nowhere on board where you can have a truly private conversation.
If you want to talk about privacy, then you probably shouldn't be on this ship.
Like right here, we're standing on the forecastle head at the bow of the ship, and everything we say is being heard down below in the forecastle itself through this handy little hatch here. You're listening, aren't you, Krista?
Yes, I am.
Yes, of course.
Vents lead everywhere, and hatches everywhere open.
Speaking candidly out here on the well deck, where people are always doing laundry and smoking cigarettes, means that not only will everybody on this deck hear you, but also through those always open hatches, your voice will drift down to the main salon.
You're never going to have any privacy having a conversation in these breezeways here, because your voice will always go straight into the galley house, and you'll be heard by whoever's hiding in this hammock here.
Now, right here underneath the bridge is a good one. Yeah, if you don't mind the fact that the captain's always open porthole is right there.
Have a conversation out here on the port side breezeway, and your voice will be overheard by who's ever in the inside head and this always occupied outside head. Oh, shut the curtain, for God's sakes. Up here on the quarterdeck, you've got Liz on the helm there. How you doing, Liz? And the always lonely officer on watch. How you doing, Andy? Who's really not that lonely because everything he says can be heard down on the Aloha deck.
Are you the oldest? Yeah. Just my sister and I.
You might think that climbing aloft to have your conversation would offer you some form of privacy, but surprisingly no, actually. Pretty much everything we say up here can be heard clear as a bell down there, and certainly everything they say down there can be heard really clearly up here.
What's your secret private place, Emily? Well...
Like we don't already know. There are 3 places where you can achieve at least semi-privacy. The first is out on the bowsprit. Your second option is to go 2 at a time into the shower.
Or you can do what I like to do best, which is come down here to the engine room and the great beast is running and lament your total lack of privacy on board by just having a great big primal scream all to yourself.
Gossip is so rampant, some people have made a sport out of starting rumors and then seeing how long it takes for those rumors to circulate back to them.
People need stuff to talk about.
Sometimes people get bored, so they start talking.
It's because what else do people have to do? Absolutely nothing.
So that's how rumors start.
Gossip on board's worse than high school.
And so it was that my relationship with Lauren became fair game for other people's conversations. Now the fact is, I'm a very private person.
Unlay it a little bit as it comes up. This one.
I know that might sound odd coming from a guy who spent the last 10 years working as a television performer, but that is the truth. And this is the first job I've ever had where my role was to not perform.
It does go right through.
Acting normal is going to take some getting used to. I'm embarking on a new relationship with a woman I've only known for about 6 weeks, and I'm just having a hard time pretending to not notice there's a camera that's chasing me. Us.
It's just, I guess, something you need to get over, that it's a very personal, like a very personal aspect is being made pretty public.
Shakespeare once said that discretion is the better part of valor. Discretion is also the better part of the second mate's relationship with Jill. Thing is, Jill and Andy are so discreet.
Nothing.
I didn't even know they were having a relationship. And that is the way they like it.
You know, relationships are going to happen, that's fine, but keep in mind that you're surrounded by 40 some other people, and, you know, just tone it down and don't throw it in everybody's faces, because it can make other people uncomfortable, and that's the last thing you want to do.
It's not fair to subject other crew members to what you would like to be a private moment, because there is no such thing on board.
As the follically challenged pose for their future fridge magnet picture, visions of sugar plums dance in their snow-white heads.
That's close.
We're not going to make the Galapagos in time. Christmas will be spent at sea.
What's the history of that tree then?
Oh, this tree. This was a descendant of a Reuben Christmas tree I had in my youth. Back before they invented real ones.
That's a pretty good shade for you.
Oh, yeah.
What did you expect?
Welcome to my underground. Thanks, Mom. Santa baby.
In 30 years, I have never missed Christmas with my folks.
Little bottle of Newfie Screech for the tree. Some rum, you know, take me back.
This separation is hard on many of us, especially those of us with children and spouses, like our cameraman, Wade.
I feel bad for you and Gabe. Do you want me to tell the captain to let you off right now? No, seriously, you know. I mean, Wade was, you know, I was getting to go through his bag of Christmas stuff today, you know, and it's sad, you know, not being around loved ones.
Because I'll be imagining everything that they're doing without me, and kind of wondering if, you know, did anyone make cookies? You know, it's hard for me to even get in to thinking about Christmas because I'm not doing any of my traditional role as a mother.
Depressed. I wouldn't say I was depressed, but you think about family and, you know, you're missing them. But as the day wore on and the captain broke out some rum, people kind of brightened up and really had a nice time. You know. This is our family now. And it's a pretty good one.
Bit of mashed potatoes.
It's actually really
And cheers to all you guys. So, happy Christmas. Cheers.
I missed my train though, going around the Christmas tree. There's no train here. Just a cab.
Look at that. So many things to look at.
Welcome to San Cristobal, Ecuador.
Thank you very much.
The same, everybody.
Very good.
Look at the Galapagos. Look. It looks like the moon. It looks barren and inhospitable. I thought the place would be lush. I thought little goldfinches would fly up and eat seed right out of my hand. But then again, I also thought Greg and Annalisa would be married by now. They didn't get married on the equator because of our hazing ceremony, and they didn't get married after that for reasons that I don't really know. And now, for reasons that I'm sure will be in Greg's book, they're jumping ship. It kind of feels like they're eloping.
Is that the engagement ring?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. When did you know? In the airport at Lynn.
When we first met, yeah.
Yeah, we went to information and were able to hook up. So the person information said, well, there's someone else here.
You knew as early as that?
Well, there was an interest, sure. Yeah, I was like, well, this is interesting. This is a pretty cool person, yeah.
Is marriage still part of your picture?
think so, yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, we don't have a time frame on it now.
Yeah, which is fine.
No one on board wants Annalisa to leave. Most of us don't think that she even wants to leave.
She was having the time of her life. She was loving it. But to leave and maintain this relationship, as she felt, was very important. But she had to really, get her head bent around the idea of leaving. And that's what we all think she did. She never addressed any concerns she may have had, which is what you're supposed to do. She was very sad leaving, whereas her partner was quite delighted to go. I think he wanted to go. He went. Fair enough. She didn't want to go.
As Greg and Annalisa walk away from us, they also walk away from most of the money they paid to come on this adventure.
I certainly don't count this trip a loss by any means. Absolutely not. Not even financially, because people lose money in an afternoon on the stock market and they don't get anything. And I have seen some great stuff, and I've done some great stuff on this trip and met people that I want to be friends with all my life. So
met some incredible people.
Yeah. So I don't count this a loss at all, and it was a great opportunity to burn down my life as it was.
It's New Year's Eve in the Galapagos Islands.
And I like this. I think this should be a tradition.
All right, you guys, what's up with the list?
The list is, you've seen the effigies, right?
Okay, what I understand to be happening is people make big paper mache people. They make effigies of famous people, their friends, people they know, people they like, politicians, people they want to make fun of in general. Then they light them on fire. Accompanying these effigies are lists of problems that the people who make the effigies have had over the past year. They get burnt as well.
Andrew, I can't help but notice that list is pretty damn long.
This list, it started out and I was going, last year, honestly, I had no problems. Oh, wait a sec, that. Oh, yeah. Next thing we got 2 pages. And GST, taxes in general. God damn, I owe those people money, I think. They're telling me I do, at least I don't.
I have some in English that the bosun suggested. The first one is sexism.
Does that have something to do with why she's still a bosun or something?
No.
Are you doing it for her or are you doing it for you?
Females in general, I believe.
I believe Hillary in general must have had some serious problems last year.
This is Mr. Limp. Mr. Limp represents all of our female Nazi frustrations, our feminist aspirations, and what we hope to accomplish for the new year for us. And it has nothing to do with menstruation. Absolutely not.
This list is going on this thing.
Let's slash it on.
Where it must go.
See, this sucks, okay? Boy's 12 years old.
He's got every guy's fantasy going on right now. 2 Latino women.
He's 12, he's got 2 15-year-old girls. What else could be better?
No more compromises.
Amen.
Goodbye to insecurity.
Amen.
Burn, baby, burn.
Amen. What about you?
Live life to the fullest. Don't hold back. Enjoy it for all it's worth at the moment.
3 months ago, I was a single, unemployed landlubber living on an island in the North Atlantic. Now, I'm a sailor celebrating New Year's in paradise. I've got a girlfriend, and I've got another 30,000 sea miles of traveling coming my way. Okay, so here's my New Year's resolutions. First and foremost, I will become a better surfer. Second, I resolve to lash out in violence if I'm ever called Newfie on board this ship again.
His crimes, being a newfie.
The word is Newfoundlander, okay? And finally, I resolve to do the sailorly thing and have a girl in every port. Only in my resolution, the girl is always Lauren. On the next episode of Tall Ship Chronicles. The Galapagos Islands bring people out of their shells. 27 days at sea comes with unprecedented danger. And the honeymoon is over as tempers flare.
Okay, what I want to talk about was kind of like an attitude thing.
We're not employees, so you can't treat us as such.
That's all next time on Tall Ship Chronicles.